starting a new reading vlog. My last reading vlog is actually going up today. Today is December 23rd, so it's the day before Christmas Eve. And I'm gonna start a new reading vlog today, mainly because I have not updated you guys on anything that's been going on. Well, there's a ton to update you on, but I got some new books. My Illumicrate box came in. I was able to get my hands on the December fairy loot box, and my book of the month picks came in. So I thought I would start this vlog off by sharing some book mail, and then we can talk about what books I've been reading, because I have been reading quite a few books. I think I'm on book 98 for the year now. So super excited about that. But let's get into a book haul. I have you guys a little bit precariously set up. So we're gonna try and get through this quickly. I did already open my Illumicrate box. I couldn't help it. It came on Saturday and I was just really excited about it. Got this, like, oh my gosh, this is the softest thing ever. It's like a, I'm gonna use it as a pencil pouch. I think it's like supposed to be some kind of traveling case, but for me this is going to be great for carrying pencils and markers and stuff like that, because in the coming year I would really like to start a reading journal. It's something that I've been wanting to do for a very long time, and I thought about starting one this year, but I didn't really start reading. I wasn't sure how I was going to, like, how much I was going to get into reading. And then by the time I realized that I was really enjoying reading again, it was like May or June, and I didn't want to have a reading journal for 6 months, and so but this next year I think I really am going to start a reading journal, and I'm very excited to take you guys along on that journey. It'll be the first reading journal I've ever started. I'm very excited about that, and this is going to be something great to be able to carry my pencils, pens, markers, any other supplies I might need between, like, if I'm going to work on it downstairs here in the living room, or if I'm going to work on it upstairs in my craft area. But it's so pretty, and it is also themed after The Last Hour Between Worlds, which is the book from last month. I don't know, I really love it. When I saw this, I was super excited about it. And there's also some bookmarks in here from the Raven cycle. I have not read this series, so I don't know who any of these people are. I don't know anything about the books, but bookmarks are never something I'm gonna say no to, because I don't really have many. Then we also got a mug, which again, I love little mugs. This was an interesting one. So this is a mug inspired by Jade City. It's cute. It'll definitely get use, whether it ends up on my shelf or getting actually drank out of. That is, I don't know yet. But I love the little dishware that we get in the book boxes. One of my favorites still is the Owl Crate Lord of the Rings dish, the bowl. So I love this kind of stuff. And the last bookish item is a little desk calendar, which is great because this year I was thinking to myself that I really needed a calendar, and I didn't have one at all, and now I have like 3. I think it's just different subscription, it's just different books that they've had in their subscriptions. So I'm not going to go through them all, but you can just see it's just the artwork from a few different ones that will definitely come in handy for next year. And then when I pulled out the book, I was so excited, you guys. I know I have discussed on this channel a few times my ethnicity, my heritage, and yes, I am Hawaiian, I am Japanese, I'm also Puerto Rican, and I'm not sure if it's Cherokee or Choctaw, That's up for debate, mainly because my dad's side of the family has mostly died out, so there's no real way for me to find out, um, other than like a DNA test or, you know, the ancestry stuff. But I don't know, some of that stuff kind of creeps me out. I grew up in an Asian Hawaiian household, so that is what I'm most familiar with as far as my heritage goes, and you know, that's my culture. So of course I'm pretty familiar with most Hawaiian words, especially like Hawaiian slang words or pidgin. I'm pretty familiar. I'm familiar. Okay, I do speak pidgin. I do know some Hawaiian. It's not something that's taught in the mainland, so obviously it's a little bit more of me having to learn on my own. And then, as many of you guys know, I did live in Hawaii for some time. Of course, you know, growing up, we lived there off and on, but I did live there for about 10 years, in my 20s, and for multiple reasons, I don't want to live there anymore. But anyway, all that to say, when I saw this book, I immediately pulled it out of the box and said, is that a Hawaiian author? Because Hamajang is I'm not sure if it's a Hawaiian word, but it's definitely a slang. It's definitely pidgin. But I did see that and I got super excited. And then, yes, indeed, it is a Hawaiian author. So I'm super excited for this book. Oh my God. First of all, it is freaking beautiful. Like, I am so pleased with this. Like, I'm so happy with this edition. Okay, I'm not that happy with this. I mean, I get it. I'm sure it has something to do with, you know, what's going on in the book, which doesn't make me thrilled to, like, I don't know. What is this book about? But I'm very excited because this is the first time that I have seen a Hawaiian author in any subscription service. Listen, I will take Hawaiian representation where I can get it. Hopefully this book does justice to Hawaii, because it does say that it is a love letter to Hawaii. So we'll see. We'll see how it comes out. It's also a heist book. So again, I love heist books. I do not like heist movies or TV shows, but I love a heist book. I'm excited for all the heist books I have to read this coming year. And this is just another one. I think I want to read this one first, though. But I'm very excited. I absolutely love the color palette. I love the tribal artwork. Even if I hate this book, I will probably keep it anyway, because when is the next time I'm gonna get to see anything as Hawaiian as Hamajang in a subscription box? Anyway, let me read you what the synopsis says. And it also has like Hamajang, what that means, the description, where it comes from, all that. I'm not going to read that. You are more than welcome to look that up on your own time. It says, Eddie is done with crime. 8 years behind bars changes a person, costs them too much time with too many of the people who need them most. And it's all Angel's fault. She sold Eddie out in what should have been the greatest moment of their lives. Instead, Eddie was shipped off to the icy prison planet, spinning far below the soaring sky bridges and neon catacombs of Kelper Space Station of home, to spend the best part of a decade alone. But then a chance for early parole appears out of nowhere, and Eddie steps into the pallid sunlight to find none other than Angel waiting, and she has an offer. One last job, one last deal, one last target. The trillionaire tech god they failed to bring down last time. There's just one thing Eddie needs to do. Trust Angel again. Which also happens to be the last thing Eddie wants to do. What could possibly go all hamajang about this plan? Here at the bottom it says Ocean's 8 meets Blade Runner in this trailblazing debut science fiction novel and swashbuckling love letter to Hawaii about being forced to find a new home and striving to build a better one. Unmissable for fans of Gideon the Ninth by Tasman Muir and Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. So Six of Crows is one of my all-time favorite books. Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom. Love, 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 love. Like, I got the special editions earlier this year. Freaking love those books. So I am really hoping that this is going to be good. I really hope that I'm not going to be upset. Like, part of me wants to just read this now. I don't know. I'm always a little bit nervous to see how someone portrays the Hawaiian culture, and especially on such a scale like this, where, you know, it's an Illumicrate book, so many people are going to read this, many people are going to have opinions, and are they going to get it? Are they going to understand it? Are they going to have some sort of appreciation for it, or is it just going to be harshly judged? You know, I do feel a way, regardless of my opinions and thoughts on living in Hawaii. Being Hawaiian is my culture. It is part of who I am. It's my identity. And I do feel very strongly about, you know, the Hawaiian people, our culture, what's been done to us. Our lack of representation, even still today, we are very underrepresented. I would say one of the most underrepresented cultures and ethnicities in the world. Mainly because there is such a small, you know, oftentimes we are lumped in with Asian Pacific Islander. Which, I mean, yeah, okay, great, cool. You know, but I guess you could say the same thing about Tongan and, you know, Samoan and anyone else who is considered Polynesian. We are very underrepresented. And I do get my hopes up very often when I see some sort of representation. Most of the time it's a little bit disappointing because it's done poorly or stereotypically, and so I just hope this won't be any of that. I am very excited for this book. Like I said, it is a beautiful colorway. It's gorgeous. I have no idea even what the actual book looks like, so I will overlay it. But I'm excited that it's a heist story. I'm excited that there's possibly going to be pigeon in the book, which is great. But I think this could either be great or terrible. I don't think there's going to be much in between. And I foresee, like, I won't know until I read this book, obviously, but I do foresee people maybe not understanding it and rating it low because they don't get it. Like, obviously language is huge. So, and Pidgin is very unique in its dialect, in the, you know, tone in which it's understood, and so I am a little bit nervous about that. It is 365 pages, so not a bad length, but I am very excited. In case I haven't pressed that upon you enough, I am very excited to read this book. Okay, and then like I said, my book of the month box came. I did pick out 2 books. I had an unused credit. So I got The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year. I've heard mixed reviews about this one, but I love the cover. It's so Christmassy, and I'm a sucker for a Christmas book. I'm also a sucker for a mystery, a thriller, so hopefully this is a good one. Knives Out gets a rom-com twist in this rival to lovers Christmas romance mystery from best-selling author Ally Carter. The bridge is out, the phones are down, and the most famous mystery writer in the world just disappeared out of a locked room 3 days before Christmas. That's all I need to know. I can't wait. Then I got another book, like I said. This is a book that I've been wanting from an author that I already loved something else that she wrote. And this is A Winter in New York by Josie Silver. And I loved One Day in December by her, so I'm hoping I'm going to love this one as well. A young chef stumbles upon a secret family recipe that might lead her to the love and life she's been looking for. When Iris decides to move to New York City to restart her life, she realizes she underestimated how big the Big Apple really is. All the nostalgic movies set in New York she'd watched with her mom while eating their special secret recipe gelato didn't quite do it justice. But Bobby, Iris's best friend, isn't about to let her hide away. He drags her to a famous autumn street fair in Little Italy. And as they walk among the food stalls, a little family-run gelateria catches her eye. Could it be the same shop that's in an old photo of her mother's? Curious, Iris returns the next day and meets the handsome Gio, who tells her that this shop is in danger of closing. His uncle, sole keeper of their family's gelato recipe, is recuperating from a stroke and can no longer remember it, so they can't make more. When Iris samples the last remaining batch, she realizes that their gelato and her gelato are one and the same. But how can she tell them that she knows their secret recipe when she's not sure why Gio's uncle might have given it to her mother in the first place? Iris offers her services to help recreate the flavor and soon finds herself falling for Gio and his family. But when Gio's uncle finally recovers, all the secrets Iris has been keeping threaten to ruin the new life and new love she's been building all winter long. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. And the book of the month is so cute. Obviously, they sent their little, they always send a bookmark. But this month, there's Christmas stickers. And then the last thing was my gift to myself for my birthday. It is the December Fairy Loot Box. I was able to find it on Pango. You guys know how much I love Pango. If you have not shopped on there yet, what are you doing? But I do have a code. I will link it down below. I believe it's Lily's Library for $5 off your first Pango purchase. So please click the link and go buy some books because you will not regret it. So I did already see the unboxing of this on Becca's channel, and that's how I knew I absolutely wanted the book. And initially I was only going to buy the book that came with this box. So on Pango, somebody had the book for 35 bucks and then the box in its entirety for 40. So I thought I'll spend an extra $5 and get the box. So the first thing here is the Crimson Moth mug, another mug. And it's funny too because so I got this one before my Lumicrate box, and there are some similarities in the items that they've offered. This is what the Crimson Moth mug looks like. I have not read the book yet, but it's really cute. I'm bummed that I wasn't able to get the Crimson Moth edition of Heartless Hunter, but here we are. It is what it is. We are making do, as that is a truly beautiful book. And then there is a cute little dish towel. This is so cute. What does it say up here? Sea and Vine. So I'm not sure what that's from, but you can see it's just a cute little dish towel. This will look adorable, I think, hanging on this stove in the spring and summer. So I'm excited about that. And then the World of Stephanie Garber calendar. So this is their calendar. It hasn't even been opened yet. This is why I love Pango, because the sellers on there are mostly awesome. You can get really great deals on things, and a lot of the times you get stuff that hasn't even been opened or used or anything. So I'm excited. I did see a preview of this already, so I know pretty much what I'm looking at here, but I would love to share it with you guys because I just feel so blessed that I was able to get my hands on the entire box. So it's one of those where it has the stand and then you just put the card in the stand like that. And the artwork is gorgeous. I have obviously not read everything from Stephanie Garber, so I don't know you know, everything. And it's really cool too because so you get the calendar on the front, and then on the back it is the same artwork but without the calendar blocking it. That is super cool. I've never had a calendar like that before, so I'm very excited about it. And then there also is a cool little letter opener that looks like this. I'm excited to use that to open some letters because I don't really have a letter opener right now. So I'm excited for that. It's useful for me. Then the seller sent some extra goodies. It looks like she's included a bookmark, some stickers, some tabs. So like I said, you guys, I freaking love Pango. And then the book, we've got the tarot cards that came with the box. The bookmark. Oh, I'm sorry. This is the November box, I guess. And the spoiler card. Yeah, this is the November box. I thought this was the December box, but this is the November box. This absolutely freaking gorgeous book. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? This book is stunning. Like, absolutely gorgeous. The end pages are gorgeous. Like, this book is just, it is just beautiful. And the cover has that soft matte feel that I love. Oh my gosh, this is just... Like, don't get me wrong, the description, the synopsis of the book is also, you know, I also want to read this book. But it is so beautiful. I just could not pass it up. It says, what if the man you loved was the very person who betrayed you? Vanya has been betrayed by her lover and falsely imprisoned for a crime she didn't commit. She's counting down the days until she can exact her revenge when a fellow prisoner offers a chance at escape and the keys to a dangerous jinn magic. Armed with a brand new identity and all the power she could want, Vanya enacts a plan to bring down those who cheated her and her family. But when the one person standing in her way is the very man who signed her life away, retribution becomes a complicated game of cat and mouse. Because her betrayal isn't simple, and revenge certainly isn't easy. Not when your heart is involved. Oh, it's Danya, not Vanya. I'm sorry. It's hard to tell when they have fancy writing. But this is absolutely a stunner. I'm so excited to read this. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy. I was finally able to take it out. I've been waiting to put it on my shelf until I could share it with you guys. I might even do one more haul for this year, maybe at the beginning of 2025, because I don't think I'm going to record any more videos this year. Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, oh my gosh. I'm sorry, this is such a stunner. So these are all of the books that I have hauled today. Freaking gorgeous and exciting reads. I'm so excited. So I'm gonna put that stuff away and let me update you guys on what I've been reading. Okay, I'm honestly gonna try and get through this as quickly as I can, simply because, again, we are like deep into the Christmas time here. I have other things to do right now. But yeah, so I think the last thing I told you about was my December Darling, which was kind of like meh. Like, I was feeling very lukewarm about the Christmas reads. And then I picked up Christmas Shopaholic, which was so good. Oh my gosh. First of all, Christmas vibes, check. Relatable character, check. Like, I don't know. Everything that was freaking going on in this book was just like so good. And I loved it. I freaking loved it. So obviously the title kind of gives a little bit away. It's about a very normal person who, what is her name? Bex. I felt very relatable, or I felt like Bex was very relatable because she's just like a mom who is going through it and trying to get things, you know, set up for the Christmas season. She has a kind of standoffish sister. Her parents are like, they're like, it's nothing bad, but I'll get into it in a minute. Her husband is kind of aloof. Her kid is absolutely adorable. Her best friend is great. And does her best friend have any kids? I don't remember. But there's like a lot of things happening that you don't like. It for me, it was just very real life, because so like the story is mainly following Bex, right, where everything's being told from her perspective, and she's talking about how, like, you know, online shopping is her therapy that makes her zen, and it's very clear that she has like a shopping addiction, a shopping problem. And I never felt more seen. And like nobody really calls her on it. And so her sister and her sister's husband, they're like in another country at the time, and it's unsure if they were going to be coming back to the UK for Christmas or whatever. I think they finally do decide to, and they're going to stay for some time. And so the mom and the dad decide to give up their home for them to be there and stay for the Christmas season. And then they're going to live in this other, like, really upscale, posh, kind of, like, hip, young town. So they do that, and, like, Bex is kind of jealous about it because she's like, you know, why are you living there? This is a young place, and we moved where we live to be closer to you, and now it's not closer, and blah, 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 blah. Like, all this stuff. And then as all that's happening, her mom drops on her, hey, by the way, we're not going to be hosting Christmas this year. You are. Awesome. Great. So then, like, a bunch of other people, like, invite themselves. Like, the sister invites herself to the Christmas. A few friends invite themselves, like, her mom's friend. And, like, there's some miscommunication happening with the mom's friend where she's thinking like that they're not friends anymore. It's just a lot of complexities that actually happen in real life, because there's also like stuff going on with the kids' school. There's a woman at the school who's going through some shit, and like it's just like, you know, when you're just in the right place at the right time and somebody just needs to tell you things. Like, even if you guys don't talk all the time, they need somebody to talk to, and you're there. So it's like, okay, cool, I can take this on. And so there's that. She ends up planning like a Christmas Eve thing because there's like this falling out. Listen, about midway through the book, things just, it's like one thing after another going wrong. Like, she couldn't get a vegan turkey, and then she gets 30 pounds of salmon, and she's thinking 30, like it costs 30 pounds. No, girl, it was 400 pounds. Yikes. But yeah, it all ends up really good. I love the way her husband stands up for her and speaks for her. Like, not speaks for her, but like just the way he speaks about her is beautiful. Like, just, I don't know, he just stands up for her, and the things that he says about her are just amazing. And like, at that point, up until that point, the book was definitely a solid 4-star for me, but that happened and I was like 5 stars right there. That just threw you over the edge. And then the ending was just so sweet and cute, and my little heart, like, all the Christmas vibes. So I definitely highly recommend that one. I also read Small Things Like These. Didn't love it. Again, this was another like character driven slice of life situation, and I have to stop reading these books. like, part of me is like, okay, do I just start really focusing on the synopsis? But at the same time, am I really going to get that it's a slice of life book from the synopsis? I don't know. And I keep accidentally coming across these things, and it's just like, this isn't for me. Although I feel like when I read Love Letters to the Dead, that was kind of slice of life, right? Wouldn't you consider that slice of life? Because we're literally just going through this girl's life for a year. Although I guess because of the letter, the way the story was sold, maybe. I don't know. I'm just trying to make up reasons why I like that book, but I don't like slice of life books. So that is definitely a 2025 goal next year. Stop reading slice of life books because I never rate them more than 3 stars. And I've been a little bit more critical with my ratings lately because it's like, if I'm really not enjoying my time, and the only reason why I finished that one is because it was very short. It was a novella. Otherwise, I definitely would have DNF'd it because that was just annoying. But yeah, so I read that one, 2 stars, hated my time with it. Didn't even know what the hell was going on in that book. So that, it is what it is. Then I read 2 more non-Christmas books. The Measure, which I have been hearing so much buzz about for the entirety of the year. Like, ever since I got into BookTube, it's been talked about. And a lot of people continue to recommend it and go back to that and, you know, discuss it. So finally it was available and I was like, you know what, I'm going to read this. There was a few things, like, overall I gave it 4 stars because it was good. It was emotional. The end was just like a gut punch and it really got me. And any book that can elicit such an emotional reaction from me is getting no less than 4 stars because that is not an easy feat. I do not get emotional, especially like cry about many things, many books. Although if anything's going to do it to me, it's going to be a book or a movie. I'm not the type of person that cries a lot in my daily life. Like, I just don't. So if something really is able to elicit that from me, the author has done their freaking job. But yeah, and this one definitely was very shocking. I cried, or at least I had tears in my eyes, I will say. But there were some things that I didn't agree with the representation of. There was just some inaccuracies, like things don't actually, I get it, it's a fiction book, but these are also real life, real world things that can happen. And when you represent it or misrepresent it in such a way, it's like, okay, people are gonna get the wrong idea. This is not actually how this shit works. Anyway, the premise of the book is that one day, people are just going along living their lives, and the next day everybody gets a box. And inside the box is a string, and the measure of that string is the measure of your life, as in how long you have to live. And they go through all this shit about, trying to figure out if it's real. Like, there's conspiracy theories, like, is this really happening? And it's just interesting that, in the book, it turns out that, oh, yeah, it is. It's real. It really is tied to how long your life is. But in real life, we know that some things that were thought to not be true actually weren't true. And some conspiracy theories about things turned out to be right. So that's interesting. Interesting take. But yeah, so they go through that, and then some things were brought up that I had never really thought about, like being entitled to know, like, a celebrity's string length or politician's string length, someone who's in the public eye, or not having members of the military who have short strings being allowed to serve and stuff like that. Wanting to segregate short stringers and long stringers, and thinking that short stringers are, they're radicalized. Sorry, I had to abruptly end that because we have, like, yard decorations for Christmas, and we are surrounded by dogs. We don't have a dog. but all of our neighbors do pretty much, and there's a few that like to come over into our yard and try to pee on our decorations, and I'm not having it. I hate that. If you have a dog, please pay attention to your dog. Please do not let them go and pee on other people's things. Like, PSA to dog owners. I love animals. I love dogs. I love cats. I do someday hope that we can get a dog because my daughter loves dogs. But I grew up where you pay attention to your dog. You don't let your dog do whatever, go and pee and poop in whoever's yard, and then not clean things. Like, I'm sorry. The not picking up after your dog, that's not a thing. But it's, like, for me, that's not a thing. That's not okay. Like, you need to pick up your dog's poop. But I noticed that that's not a thing here in the mainland. So it's like, especially in Florida, like, people would just be letting their dogs shit wherever, and I'm not about it. But yeah, so that's my little PSA to dog owners today. Please pay attention to your dogs. Please do not let them just pee and poop wherever if it's not your property, your yard, or whatever. You know, if you're taking your dog for a walk and they poop in somebody's yard, please pick it up. Like, please don't let your dogs pee on other people's cars, on trash cans, whatever, because it just attracts other dogs and it becomes a whole thing. Anyway, so back to what I was saying about like segregating the stringer. Anyway, just that book in general was very like, it's about strings, but we all know that you can apply that to anything else that's going on in life. It was very good. Like I said, there were some things I didn't agree with. I didn't like how they were presented, but I was able to push past that because it wasn't anything like, no, it was very annoying, but it didn't take away enough from the book. Like, that barred it from getting that 5th star, but it was a very good book. I thought the writing was actually pretty good, and it was very enjoyable. It brought up a lot of different interesting perspectives, so I really enjoyed that. Also read No One Can Know, which was so good, and I was very surprised because it was Kate Alice Marshall, and if we rewind a couple of months to when I read my first Kate Alice Marshall, I was not happy with that book. It was very compelling. It was fast paced. I was hooked. It was a good time until we got to the end. And then I was just like, really? Like, I got whiplash from how many twists there were back to back to back to back to back. And I think this is something she does, because even in this book, there was still like, there was a few things revealed here and there, but the majority of things weren't revealed until almost the very end. But the way she did it in this one was more like reasonable. I don't know what the word is that I'm looking for here, but it was just more natural. Like, it just, like, we're just finding stuff out and it's like, oh shit, like, it was just more natural, not like the way the other one was. I don't know what was going on there, but it was just like, whoa, like, all of these things, it's like, and then this, and then this, and then, like, you didn't even have the time to recover from anything. But I did enjoy I will say, I like the way that she kind of, like, leaves you little breadcrumbs, right? And doesn't really tell you much until almost the end, and then she tells you something. And then you get to the ending, and it's like, everything comes out. Pretty much everything is resolved. All your questions are answered for the most part. I mean, there were some things in this book that I think her name was Addie. Like, could we know more about what happened to her? Like, what even was that? But yeah, for the most part, everything was very well wrapped up. So I don't have too much to complain about there. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure I gave that one 4 stars as well, because it was pretty good. It was a great mystery. It was a very interesting family dynamic. And yeah, I thought it was good. Then I ended up DNFing So This Is Christmas by, I think, Jennifer Holiday or Jen Holiday. I don't remember. Anyway, ended up DNFing that one because it just, I got an hour into it and I was like, I don't care about anything. I might go back to it at some point. Like, maybe it was just the wrong time right now. I don't know. But I wasn't feeling very Christmassy, even though she's at a freaking castle. I don't know. It just was not the vibe I was going for. And then I read this like short translated novella, which I didn't realize it was a translated work, called Santa Killer, and it could have been good, but it was very clear to me that the person who was translating it was not very familiar with the English language. So I'm not sure what the criteria is for being a translator. Like, do you just need to have a basic, which he didn't even have a basic understanding. I'm sorry. The translation was bad. Like, it was translated from, I'm assuming, from Spanish to English, and it was like listening to somebody who is just learning English speak English. So, like, they've been speaking Spanish their whole life, or other languages their whole life, and they're just now, like, learning English, and so there was that very clear, like, not everything translates, not everything is, like, you have to process it more from reading it. And it could have been good, but because of that, it just kind of like dragged it down. It dragged a 20-page story down. Anyway, so, you know. And then the most recent one I read was actually Sour Candy, which, what a book, what a time. I saw a couple of people on BookTube reading this. I know Jan was one of them, and then I can't remember who else, but I saw a couple of people reading it. It was a short read, and I was very interested in it, and I'm glad I read it because it was super disturbing. Maybe not Christmas time is the best time to read that book. So, I think I have caught you up on everything I've been reading. I am currently listening to Just the Nicest Couple by Mary Kubica. I'm probably going to start Lights Out by Nevessa. I can't remember who that one's by. Because me and my girlfriend are wanting to read it now. And then I also was able to get a ebook of Woodworm from my library, so I'm excited to read that. I am only 3 pages in because I only had a few minutes to read yesterday. And already I am freaking hooked. 3 pages in, I'm hooked. Just because it's weird. It is so freaking weird. So I cannot wait to read that. I don't know, what is it? There's another thing. Oh, I'm also listening to A Kilt for Christmas, I think, which I don't know how I feel about it. I just kind of want to get through it. I don't know. I'm hoping, like, I thought it was getting better, and it was for like a minute, and now I'm just like, why am I still reading this book? So we'll see how that goes. But I'm hoping to get more Christmas books read. Like I said, I'm probably going to be reading holiday/winter books up until February, simply because I love holiday romances. I'm looking for some more favorites. I haven't gotten to my reread yet. I haven't even gotten to most of my TBR yet. So yeah, that's where we are. I don't know how much updating I'm going to do in the next couple days. I'm hoping to even just get some B-roll, because I know that tomorrow and Wednesday are going to be busy for me. So I may not see you guys until Thursday, maybe not even until Friday. I don't know, but you'll be seeing me most likely on Monday, because I have a couple of videos I just need to edit them or finish editing them and upload them. But yeah, I think that's all I've got for you guys for now. By the time you see this, it will be well past Christmas. So I hope that you have had a very Merry Christmas, or a very happy December 25th if you don't celebrate Christmas. But we do celebrate Christmas here. So to all my other fellow people who celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas. You'll probably see this after the new year. So Happy New Year. Welcome to 2025 and whatever the hell is going on here. Thank you guys for tuning in, even in the new year. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go and get some chores done, because there's a lot of them. Hang out with my kiddo. Hopefully get some reading done. And I will see you guys when I have something to update about. Okay, so it is not Friday, it's Monday. I didn't have too much really to update on. I did read some books since the last time we talked. But I was just really in such a reading mood that I honestly just wanted to focus on that. So when we left off, I was reading Just the Nicest Couple by Mary Kubica. I have since finished it, and I think of the recent books that I finished, that's probably my favorite. I think I gave it 5 stars. That book was so good. Like, the first book I ever read from Mary Kubica was The Other Misses, and I loved that book so much. And then earlier this year, I read Don't You Cry, and I gave it 2 stars, and I just felt like it was so long. Like, the story was very dragged out. The twists to me weren't really even worth it. Like, I don't know, it just was not for me, and I was very concerned because I was like, oh, I loved her, the first book I read from her, so is this, like, was that just a one-off? And then I read Just the Nicest Couple, and I was like, no, this is it. It was just hitting. From start to finish, my freaking attention was captured. I just wanted to keep reading. I think I read it in like a day or so. I was hooked. I was hooked. We're getting the story from 2 different perspectives, Nina and Christian. So these are 2 couples that are connected because Nina and Christian's wife, Lily, are friends. They work together at the same school, and they've been friends for quite some time. So there's a bunch of different things happening, but the main thing is Nina's husband has now gone missing. And Nina doesn't know this, but we know that the last person, well, that we know of to see him was Lily. And they had like an altercation, and she hit him with a rock. And this story was so freaking crazy because he goes missing, but she doesn't even think to say anything for a little bit because they had an argument, and he was like, oh, wouldn't it just be better if I left, or you wouldn't care if I left, or something like that, and she doesn't say anything. So she blames herself a lot and feels like, oh, she should have said something, and that's probably why he's not coming back, that's probably why he left, all this and that. Then there's this moment where, so her mom is staying at the house with her while her husband is gone. I think at this point she knows that he's missing, and she's reported him and stuff. When she gets back one day, she can feel like something in the house is off, and like someone has been here, and she's not quite sure, she's like really freaked out. And then eventually her mom comes clean and is like, oh, I saw Jake earlier. I didn't want to say anything because, he ran away from me, da, 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 da. And her mom doesn't see very well. She has, I think it's called macular degeneration. I can't remember exactly what it is, but it's like basically her eyesight is deteriorating. And she's very dependent on her daughter. She needs her daughter to go, to like drive her and stuff like that. Because she has such a hard time seeing. So she tells Nina that that's who she saw as her husband. And for a while, she calls off the search. And then I forget exactly what happens that makes her realize that it wasn't her husband who came home. But yeah, there's so much going on in this story. The twists in this story were so good. I freaking love this book. And if you have not read it yet, I highly, highly recommend. I also read The Lake of Lost Girls, which was also pretty good. I think I gave that one 3 or 4 stars. I think I gave it 4 stars because the twist at the end was like, never in a million years would I have seen that coming. It was just crazy. Like, the story in the beginning, I feel like did drag a little bit. It was slow to get started, but once we got started, it was pretty good. It was pretty enticing, and like you just wanted to finish it up because I think I listened to it over a few days, but I sat down and listened to it for 2 sittings basically. So in this one, we're following a sister who years ago, her sister was one of these girls that went missing, and like what they never really solved it. They don't know who was behind it. If there was someone behind it, they hypothesized that there was a serial killer and that the girls are dead. They just never found their bodies. And then while the sister is looking into things, bodies start showing up at this lake. So we're following her, like basically her unraveling what happened all these years ago, what happened to her sister, and what happened to her sister will, oh my gosh, I was shocked. Like my jaw was on the floor. Also, simultaneously, while this is going on, we're getting excerpts or like little snippets from a podcast. We could have completely done without this. I don't feel like the podcast element added anything to this story that we needed. I feel like if anything, it just kind of like spelled out things that were left for you to gather from the clues, and I just don't think it was necessary. It wasn't entertaining. It didn't really add anything. Then I read You Better Watch Out, which is a Christmas novella. I think it's a novella. Again, this one was slow to start, and I only gave this 3 stars because I would say the last fourth, if not half of the book, was extremely predictable. There's one twist that I was not expecting at all, but like in the way that it happened, but I was expecting it from this person. And then literally everything that happened after, I was just like, I didn't. So because of that, I was just like, no. Like, it was fun. The action scenes were fun, and it was like crazy. It reminds me of like a Saw movie. It's actually even as gruesome. But yeah, it was just super predictable, and I don't know if it was intended to be predictable, like you're supposed to be able to guess what's going to happen at the end. But for me, it was like that kind of took some of the fun out of it, so I gave it 3 stars. But if you're looking for a holiday read and you don't mind something that's a little bit predictable and very gruesome, go ahead and pick it up. But like I said, it's only, I think, about 5 or 6 hours. Then the last book I read is The Summer Hikaru Died. I finally was able to get my hands on this. I picked it up from my library. Everyone that I have watched on BookTube has talked about this in some capacity. So I really did want to try it out. It's been a long time since I read any manga. So I just wanted to give it a try and see if it's something that I want before I just, go in and buy it. My library does have the first 2 volumes, and I put them both on hold. So this one finally came in, and by the time I got to the end of it, I wanted the second one immediately. So I think I did look for it on Pango, but I didn't see anybody selling them on Pango. So I think I'm just going to have to buy brand new versions because unfortunately none of the used booksellers around here sell manga. So I'm just going to probably wait a little bit. I'm going to wait until I get my hands on the second book from the library, and then I think I'll probably just buy the volumes after the second one, so 3, 4, however many there are, and then later on I'll go back and buy the first 2 volumes. But this was actually really good. Like I said, I enjoyed my time with it. I mean, I read it in a few hours. So this is about Hikaru and his friend, mainly. I mean, it's their kind of like their circle of friends, the school kids that they live in the village with and stuff. And one day Hikaru goes missing. He goes up into the mountains that's nearby, and he goes missing, and then when he comes back, he's not Hikaru anymore. And nobody else seems to really notice this except for his like best friend. And then we're not very far into the book. I think we're only like 2 or 3 chapters into the book, and he reveals to his friend finally that, yeah, he's not Hikaru, he's something else. And then we also have this lady who's like, she doesn't know anything. Like, she doesn't know this kid. She doesn't know anything that's going on. And she tells him, like in a parking lot or something, if you keep messing around, you guys are going to mix. It's going to end badly, and like all this stuff. So it's very interesting. The way this one ended, I'm just trying not to buy the second one right now. I just will not read it. It's very addictive. So I'm just really happy to pick up a manga and just be able to enjoy it so much. So that was exciting for me. Now, you might be wondering, why are we filming someplace we never really filmed before? What is this cart doing here? This is my TBR cart, and it desperately needs to be updated. As you can see, I still have my October books on here. There's a few things that are going to stay here, but I did want to switch out these books, so I thought I would take this time to show you guys what's on my cart and then show you what I'm going to be putting back. Really only this top. The way I do my cart is, this is like what I want to get to right away, and then on my second shelf I have like just some secondary things. It could possibly be a carryover for my TBR, or just things I didn't get to that I would like to get to. Obviously I didn't get to really any of these books And I don't really have space for them on my unread shelves, so that's going to be interesting. And then on the bottom shelf that you can't see is just kind of like miscellaneous stuff. I have like some extra tabs, I have some book sleeves, some book covers, and just some random household stuff. So I thought I would go ahead and I'll go through what I have up here, what I didn't get to read, and what I'm definitely going to prioritize for next year. So the first thing I have here is Thistlefoot by Jenna Rose Nethercott. I'm not going to go into the synopsis of these just because we will be here for a very long time. And I have also discussed, I think, all of these books at one point or another on my channel. Also, I'm not the best at explaining synopsis unless I'm literally reading it to you, and I just don't want to do that. Knock Knock Open Wide by Neil Sharpson, Belladonna and Foxglove, Funny Feelings. I have The Ex-Hex and A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. And then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell, and The Shadow House by Anna Downs. A Touch of Darkness by Scarlett St. Clair, An Unwanted Guest. Then I have some new books that I wanted to put up. Some of these you guys have already seen, and some I have not hauled yet. So I have Every Last Fear by Alex Finley, A Winter in New York by Josie Silver, The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year, One Day in December, Christina Lauren and Holidays, So This Is Christmas, Make the Season Bright. I've got my other books from my holiday TBR. So I've got A Cat Cafe Christmas by Cody Gary, The Plight Before Christmas by Kate Stewart, and I saw that this has a second book, so I hope I love this one, and I want to pick up the other one. And then Always in December, which I have not gotten to yet. And then, like I said, I have a few others that I'm going to keep up here. So A Touch of Darkness, because this isn't my book, I want to make sure I keep it on the top. An Unwanted Guest by Shirley Penna, I also want to keep up here. So on my second shelf, I have my 2025 Illumicrate calendar, Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman, Supplication, Butcher and Blackbird, Afterlove is Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez, The Counselors and It Ends With Us, The Love Hypothesis, As Good as Dead, and Good Girl Bad Blood. Happy Place, I'm going to put Belladonna and Foxglove. Then She Was Gone, Funny Feelings, The Counselors, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, Supplication, Afterlove, It Ends With Us, The Shadow House here. So that is what is on my TBR cart for the time being. I am probably going to add a few, I have plenty of space here, so I'm probably going to add a few more books. There's some books that I recently got that I want to put on here, as well as some subscription boxes. I have been doing some content planning for the upcoming year, so I'm really excited to go into 2025 with some fun ideas, and that is going to shape my TBR cart going forward. So let me know if you guys want to see more TBR cart updates, and I will try to do that regularly when I update what's in it. So that's all I have for right now. I will see you guys in my next update. Hello. I'm just trying to update you guys and end this vlog before the sun goes down and I lose any kind of sunlight. Last time we spoke, I was organizing my TBR cart. Have I read anything off of my TBR cart yet? No. Did you think I would? No, but I have. So the last book that we talked about, I think, was the manga Summer Hikaru Died. Since then, I have read quite a few more books. Also, we celebrated the new year, so happy new year. Welcome to 2025. So I read The Christmas Tree Farm, not the one that everyone else has been reading that's part of that little cozy series. This one, I can't remember who it's by. Of course, I'll put it up on the screen so you'll already be seeing it. So I gave that one 4 stars. Basically it was about this the main story follows this girl named Maddie or Madison. It's her and her sister Addie Addison. And it follows, like, so Madison comes back from China to help run her family Christmas tree farm, and the sister Addison is like not happy. She wants to give up on the farm. She doesn't want to do anything more with it, and she's also like kind of cold and standoffish to her sister. I really didn't like Addison. I don't know, like, I feel like the book also tried to like have her be kind of redeemed, and it just wasn't jiving with me. Like, she was just such a toxic person that I wasn't interested in that. Shortly after Maddie comes back, her like high school sweetheart or whatever, she finds out, has also moved back to the property next door, and she still has feelings for him, but the sister is just kind of like, oh, I have dibs on him, blah 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 blah. And I don't know, she's just really rude about it. As we go on, we see that it's very obvious that the guy, I think his name is Gavin, he has no interest in the sister. He's interested in Maddie. So that causes a lot of tension between the sisters, and it's almost like Addie is trying to sabotage the Christmas tree farm. There's also the mom comes to visit for the holidays, because this is taking place during like kind of like the fall and winter. So she comes, I think, for Thanksgiving and Christmas. And then Gavin also has two daughters, one that was with him already. I believe her name was Lucy or Lily. I don't know. They both have L names. I don't remember. So one, the younger one, was with him already, and then the older one was away at college, and she came home to visit. So there's a lot of tension in the house because of Maddie and Gavin's relationship building, and I don't know. It was a very short read, and it just seemed like things happened really quickly. I mean, I get it. There's not a lot of time for stuff to be happening anyway, but still, I don't know. It ended up only being a 4-star. It was a cute little Christmas read. The ending was nice. I don't know, just nothing that really like stood out to me. And now when I'm thinking back to it, I'm kind of wondering why I gave it 4 stars, if it was just 4 stars in the moment. I know it really did give me the Christmas vibes, and it was really cute. I love the relationship between Maddie and Gavin, so I don't know. I just thought it was a cute little story. Then I read some really crazy stuff. This is where we talk things out. I cannot remember the authors right now. But I read This Is Where We Talk Things Out, which was super short. I have seen a lot of people talk about it, so I had pretty high hopes, and it did not disappoint. It was another 4-star. I flew through it. It was great. Yeah, I just really enjoyed my time with it. I don't want to give too much away because it's only like, I think 100 and something pages, if that. But basically, this mom and daughter reconnect after the daughter has kind of pushed her out of her life for some time, and they go up to a cabin, and it's like this massive storm, and things just like, from the moment, honestly, from the moment she gets in the car with her mom, it's already like starting. But then once they get up to the cabin, it's like things really go off the rails, like in a scary, crazy way. So it was pretty good. I had a good time with it, so I would highly recommend it. I also read Come Closer. Again, I cannot think of who the authors are. I'm lucky to remember the names. Come Closer was basically a possession story. I can honestly say I haven't read anything like this before. Not that I can think of. It was so creepy, but so good. Another 4-star. Like, basically it goes through, it almost treats it as like, okay, at first like it's not serious, and then we start to really like notice things, and things start happening, and then it's like, oh no, but she's really possessed. Like, this is crazy. It was really good. And that was another one. It was a really quick read. Yeah, I would recommend it. I'm trying to hurry up because the daylight is like going away. Then I also read Follow Me to Ground, and this was the last book that I read in 2024, and it was not great. I couldn't follow what was happening. I was kind of, I mean, like, I knew what was going on, but I don't think I got it. Like, I don't know if it was just the wrong time for me to be reading it, if it just wasn't holding my attention. I'm not sure. It just didn't seem very interesting to me. I didn't really get what the deal was. Like, I kind of did, but I don't know. I feel like I missed something. But yeah, so that one ended up getting a 2-star. I didn't care for it. I was kind of bummed that that was my last read of 2024, but it is what it is. Then I finally finished To Sir Philip with Love, the next installment in the Bridgerton series, and that was great. Oh my gosh, I really enjoyed that book so much. Eloise is such a quirky character, and there was, again, as per usual, a lot of humor going on in this one, and the love story was very sweet. It was very, like, I would say out of all of them, it was more, not genuine, but just like the progression was more realistic. And the situation seemed a little bit, it was a little bit crazier, but more, it just made more sense. I really liked this one. So in this one, we are following Eloise and her beau, Sir Philip. Basically, Eloise kind of like invites herself to his house after his wife has passed. And he also has 2 kids, and the 2 kids and her get along really well, like right off the bat. And they have some trials and tribulations that only serves to make them stronger in the end, and they come together, and it was just really beautiful. It was just really beautiful. And the most recent book that I finished is Lights Out by Nevessa Allen. My physical copy just came in today, and I am probably going to reread it. Like, I read this book in 11 hours. It was that freaking good, and I freaking loved it. But yeah, I'm probably gonna reread it so that I can annotate, because there was so much in it that I just want to annotate, and I would not mind rereading this again at all. The second book comes out in June, I think. So it's gonna be a bit before we have another installment, but I've got my physical copy to annotate, and I'm excited about that. That one it's like a dark, smutty romance. It's about Josh and Allie. Allie is a nurse, and Josh is, like, it's kind of complicated, but he's basically like a masked thirst trap. Anyways, so Allie, unbeknownst to herself, has been watching him like do these videos for so long, and one day he decides to basically break into her house, and I don't want to tell you anymore because it just gets so wild and unhinged, but so good. Like, if you have not picked this book up, please do. If you like dark stuff, if you don't mind a lot of smuttiness, I would highly recommend this one. It was so good. I did not want to stop reading this. Anytime I had to stop reading it, I just wanted to get back to it. Like, it was that good. And then right now I am currently reading Hum, and I think I'm about 40 or 50% way through. So far, it's just kind of weird. I think this is a science fiction about like our future situation. Because there's these things called hums, and they're like helpers, but they're like, I'm picturing it kind of like iRobot. Like, you have helper, AI, or whatever, and they are in robotic bodies. But yeah, so far, not a whole lot has happened. Our main character, May, is the mother of 2 kids, and her husband, Jem. And they have gone to, like, it's very clear that they're struggling for money because she lost her job, and she has a weird procedure done to her face for some extra money, and then she takes them on a little vacation, and the kids get lost. It's very weird, like subtle weirdness, which I like. I'm just hoping that like there's going to be a little bit more to it now, because so far we're just kind of following May, her thoughts, her day-to-day life, and it's very much giving slice of life. But I don't know, I am interested enough to keep, like, while I'm listening, I'm not zoning out or anything. I'm really interested in what's going on. So I'll have to update you guys later in the next vlog and let you know how it's going. But I'm gonna wrap it up here for now. I'm sure this vlog is over an hour long. I hope not, but I feel like it will be. Happy New Year. Thanks for tuning in again. and I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye.